Hi, Mark. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate the time, and we understand that you couldn't be with us here today in person.
Yes, it's unfortunate, Mike. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and hello, everybody. Great to be with you. And sorry I can't be there in person, but it's kind of a busy couple of days at Ottawa City Hall. We have a finance committee meeting today, and then tomorrow we have our council meeting where the city's budget for 2024 will be voted on. And so there's a lot of work to do and lots of big meetings going on. So we're doing everything we can to advance the interests of the business community and of the economy in Ottawa, but it's very busy right now at City Hall. But I'm glad I'm able to join you in this format.
We get the message. We'll get the message across for sure. Mark, I wanted to start off by just looking back at 2023. We've been through lots of challenges. The pandemic comes to mind. I think the business community is a little cautiously optimistic, understanding that there's all these big issues that seem to be converging. I'm thinking about the downtown core and the housing issues, homelessness, drug use, LRT, so on and so forth. It's easy to get bogged down and a little bit negative on the prospects in front of us. How are you processing 2023?
I always approach this from a couple of angles, Mike, and I think you and I have spoken about this before. But first of all, I think we need to remind ourselves of how lucky we are to live in Ottawa. It's a great city. It's a kind and caring community, very generous people, highly educated workforce, wonderful citizens, great businesses, great leaders in our community. I was at the Christmas cheer breakfast recently, and there were all the great leaders of our community. You and I were at a downtown summit a few days ago, and all the people who care about the future of Ottawa were there. Some really great leadership in our community, and I'm really, for that reason, I'm always heartened as I go around the city and see all these wonderful people who are doing amazing things, starting companies, all the stuff that's happening in the tech sector, in the tourism industry. All of that is really exciting to me and gives me great hope about the future of our city. At the same time, though, as you've articulated, there are a number of concerns that we're facing right now. And there are some real immediate worries and anxieties that I think we all have to address together to make sure that our city continues to grow and continues to be prosperous. So, of course, one of the big ones is the changing nature of work and the fact that the federal government, our largest employer, is not having its employees come to the office 5 days a week. As everyone knows, that has a huge impact on downtown Ottawa. We're going to see the federal footprint in the downtown core reduce significantly in the years ahead. That presents a big concern. What's going to happen to that real estate? It's both a risk and an opportunity. And as entrepreneurs, I think we all know what that means. Every time there is change, it represents risk and opportunity. So I want us to look at it as both risk and opportunity. So that's a big issue. I think we're all seeing as well that Ottawa is being confronted by many of the challenges that other cities of our size and larger are also facing. Challenges around homelessness, new arrivals to Canada not having anywhere to stay, not having the resources that they need to be successful when they get here. We have increasing crime in some areas of the city. We've had challenges with the byward market. So we're starting to see some of the big city challenges that other communities in Canada and throughout North America are facing as well. And we have to tackle those together as a community. The rising costs of food and housing are impacting many people in our community. So we have to look after the most vulnerable. And there's a growing number of vulnerable people in our community. And just the cost of building and developing homes in Ottawa has risen dramatically, the cost of construction. So these are not small challenges, and some of them have the potential to reshape Ottawa for many years to come. But I look at them all as well as challenges. I look at them as opportunities because I think we have a wonderful city with great people, great companies, great healthy employment in many sectors. And so if we get everybody working together, we can tackle some of these things and we can change our city for the better.
It's a very entrepreneurial mindset, Mark. I know the Board of Trade has put a lot of emphasis on the downtown core. Of course, they've hired the Canadian Urban Institute, and just recently issued kind of a action plan. A lot of the points were directed, recommendations, Mark, were directed at the federal government in terms of payment in lieu of taxes, support for public transit, piloting kind of a commercial to residential conversions. Is the federal government, are you confident the federal government will come to the table and help with the transformation of the downtown core?
I'm hopeful. I view this as a responsibility, a duty of the federal government. They're the largest employer in Ottawa. They are making big changes to how they do business in our city, as we just discussed, reducing the number of people who come to the office every day, reducing the number of buildings that they will have in the downtown core. So I feel if that kind of change is going to happen to Ottawa, that the federal government should be our partner in helping us navigate those changes and mitigate those changes, and use this as an opportunity to really build a better downtown and a better city for everyone. Many people may remember back in the 1990s when the federal government went through a bit of a downsizing, there was federal investment in helping to retrain employees who were leaving the federal public service so that they could take jobs in the technology sector or elsewhere. So that's not what's happening now, but I just use that as a parallel example that there is history for when the federal government has made changes and it's impacted the city of Ottawa, they've put resources behind that. So I believe that the federal government has a responsibility and a duty to the people of Ottawa and to our local economy to support us through this big transition. This could be one of the biggest transitions our downtown faces in a lifetime, because we're going to see the federal government reduce its footprint by 10, 20 buildings, maybe even up to 50% of the footprint that they have in downtown Ottawa. And if that's the case, then that's monumental change, and we're going to need their support to get through this period. And what I would add to that, Mike, is I think the federal government and the provincial government are going to need to help cities in Canada, particularly Ottawa. We're going through some unique challenges, but we can't do it alone. Cities are not set up. We don't have the levers of taxation and other measures at our disposal to tackle some of the big challenges that we're facing around new arrivals to the country, around homelessness, around issues to do with substance use disorder, around crime. We don't have the resources to tackle those alone. So we're going to need help from not just the federal government, but the provincial government as well.
Let's stick with the downtown for a second and perhaps talk about a new potential arena. None of us know, of course. You've expressed an interest, Mark, of prioritizing a downtown arena, whether it's at Le Breton or actually downtown. How important do you think a new arena might be in pressing effectively a reset button for the downtown core?
I think it's a huge opportunity for our city, and first of all, I would say, we're talking about getting more people downtown. What would be a better way to get more people downtown than to have a major entertainment center and hockey arena in the downtown core where there's hockey games and concerts and other events going on? That would be ideal. And, most of downtown Ottawa, the core of downtown Ottawa is office buildings. And of course, we want to see more people living downtown. So that would be great as well. But apart from the National Arts Centre, if you think of downtown Ottawa, the core of the city, we don't have a lot of attractions in downtown Ottawa. Many of the attractions are just outside downtown Ottawa or on the edge of downtown Ottawa, like the Canadian Museum of Nature, the National Gallery of Canada, the War Museum. So to have another attraction right in downtown Ottawa and to have it be a big, big attraction like a new event center and NHL arena, I think would be a huge opportunity. That's just my opinion. It's really up to the Ottawa Senators and what they want to do. If they decide that Le Breton Flats is the right place for them, then that's their decision. And of course, we'll be there to work with and facilitate whatever we can do to help with that development. But if this was 5 years ago, I don't think there would be the opportunity downtown. And I don't think there would be as much of a need downtown to have this type of attraction here. But because of COVID, because of the changes we've already discussed, I think there is both the need to have another attraction in downtown Ottawa, and also there might be more room to do it. There's more shifting of the real estate market in downtown Ottawa. There's more potential buildings or sites that could open up in a way that wasn't the case 5 years ago. So I think we have to at least consider that.
Okay. And Mark, we'll start wrapping up, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about some of your priorities from an economic development perspective in 2024. What's on your checklist for the new year?
We've talked about a few things already, Mike. I'm very concerned about and also excited about downtown Ottawa. So I want to work with the Board of Trade and with others to identify the things that are going to really make a difference in terms of how we tackle that challenge. I think there's a huge opportunity to work with the universities and colleges, and I've met with all of them already. They're great partners at Invest Ottawa and participate fully in the work that's done at Invest Ottawa. I want to make sure we're working to keep more of their graduates in Ottawa. We often work so hard to attract people to our city to come and work here or start businesses here. We know that talent is the biggest driver of our economy. We have thousands and thousands of students who are coming to Ottawa to go to university or college. The universities and colleges do such a great job of attracting people to our city. If we could just work harder to keep them here after they graduate and they could start companies or go work for existing businesses, I think that would be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to working with the post-secondary institutions on that. And we just have to make Ottawa a great place to do business, an even better place to do business. We need to attract more events to the city. I work closely with the folks at Ottawa Tourism to make sure that we're continuing to draw big events to our city. We have the World Junior Hockey Championships coming up in just over a year. We need to do more of that to support the tourism industry, and just I'd like to see more recurring events in our city as well. When you look at the success of big festivals like South by Southwest or the Toronto International Film Festival, if we could have more events like that in Ottawa that are recurring events that happen every year, I think that would be really good for our economy as well. So lots of things. We have a lot to be excited about in 2024. We're facing lots of challenges, but as I always say, if we're working together and we're building on this amazing city we have with great leadership, great community leaders, great people who are committed to our city, then we can tackle those challenges and build a better future.
Mark, thanks for spending some time with us today, and good luck with the new budget.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you again, everybody. Again, sorry I couldn't be with you in person, but I'm really glad to see this event happening, and looking forward to hearing the outcome of some of the discussions that are going on today. Thanks for the opportunity.